Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.
Happy Friday, boys and girls. Welcome back to our PBS classroom. My name is Mrs. Vang, and I'm so excited to have you here to join me. Now, have you been writing your letters to me? Make sure that you are writing to me and send them here at the PBS classroom so that I can read your letters and so that I can send you one of these fun activity books. So don't forget, send me your letter or your story to the address here at our PBS classroom. Use the address below, and don't forget to use your address so that I can send you one of these fun activity books. So, are you ready to get started with our lesson today? Awesome job. And maybe after today, you'll get more of an idea of what you want to write about so you can send me that letter. Okay, so all week we have been working on personal narrative writing. You're right. And all week I've been sharing different books that that were personal narratives. Remember, personal narrative is a story that you write about yourself. So today's book is a little bit different. Today I wanted to share a book called Trail Through the Mist. And guess what? This book was written by my aunt. So she wrote this story, and I'm going to show you, it's in the book. Here's a picture of my aunt right here. And this is a book that she wrote, and it's a personal narrative, but it's written in a third person. And she wrote about her journey and her family's journey, which is my mom's family, of how they journeyed from Laos to Thailand during the Vietnam War. So it's a very important part of my family's history and the history of the Hmong Americans here in the United States. So this is an extra special book to me because it's a personal narrative that my aunt wrote about her journey. And so guess what, boys and girls? She's an author because she wrote this book, and you can be one too, boys and girls. Remember, your story doesn't have to be all big and grand. It can just be small moments. Remember how we talked about that when we were reading the book Ralph's Tells a Story? So we're going to start with our grammar lesson, and then we're going to go into our writing lesson. But oh, you guys are trying to tell me, I hear you. You're saying, Mrs. Vang, what's the top school for checking out books on Sora? Oh, and you thought I forgot. I did it. So let's review. Let's see which school is the top Sora checkout book for this week. Ready? And number one goes to Robinson Elementary. Awesome job. Go Roadrunners. I think this is your second week at being number one. You guys are doing such an awesome job, Robinson. So for you guys, I have a special roller coaster clap, and this is a clap that I learned from Mr. Ryan Coe. And if you know this one, help me with it. Ready? We're gonna start down here with your clap. Ready? We're gonna give them the roller coaster clap. Cheer. Ready? And whoo! Woo! Awesome job. Robinson Elementary. You guys are doing an awesome job checking out books and reading. Don't forget, if you want to see your school in our top 5, what do you have to do? That's right. Check out books on Sora. Okay, so now let's get into our lesson because we have a lot to do today. Ready? So all week we've been learning about nouns and different types of noun. Today we're going to focus on possessive nouns, and we've already kind of went through this a couple of weeks ago. But it's a great reminder because as you're writing in your paragraphs this week, it's nice, you need to know the difference between all these types of nouns so that you can use them correctly. So today, I'm going to focus on possessive nouns. And remember my poster from a couple weeks ago? What is a possessive noun? Remember I said possessive means to show that something belongs to a person or a thing. A noun, we've been working on nouns all week, right? Person, place, or things, or animal, or, and I added another one, or an idea. And possessive just means that something belongs to someone, or something, we're showing ownership of it, okay? So here's, in there, again, I call them rules, right? Because remember, when I was growing up, I learned English as a second letter, so I call all of these rules so I could remember them. Now, if the noun is just a singular noun, I just add the apostrophe S. Remember, we need to add an apostrophe and an S to make it show that it shows possession. So like if you look at my picture, right? Mrs. Vang's book, it's my book. Mrs. Vang's beanbag, here's that possessive apostrophe S. That means it's mine. Mrs. Vang's mug, you see how I'm holding my mug? That's my mug. And Mrs. Vang's cat, again, apostrophe S shows that it belongs to me. Now, again, those are all singular because Mrs. Vang, that's me, I'm one person, right? So we just added an apostrophe and an S. Remember, an apostrophe is high up in the sky. So here's some example. Grace's goat, right? And children's pets. Now here's the tricky part. Children is actually a plural word, but because it has no S, we need to put the apostrophe S so that it can mean it belongs to, so that it shows ownership, right? The children's pet. And here's the word sisters and mice. Sisters, apostrophe S, does not mean more than one. Nope, it means something belongs to them or to her. Mice, again, mice is already a plural noun. That apostrophe S just means something belongs to it. And then when you're writing, if your noun is already plural, remember plural we learned means more than one. Because there's already an S, we just add the apostrophe to it. Did you know that? So if I'm writing a sentence, here's my example of the duck's feathers. So you see how there's already ducks, that tells me there's more than one. I just add the apostrophe. Cats, bowls, again, there's already lots of cats. I just add the apostrophe. Boys, already plural, just add the apostrophe, okay? So here's an example. Here are some sentences for us to practice. Ready? If I said, the cat played with my ball, and I wanted to mean the ball that belongs to my sister. So that means it's my sister's ball. You're right. So I'm going to use my word right here, sister's ball. Again, sisters, apostrophe S, does not mean that it's plural, but it's possessive. The ball belongs to her. Now, let's look at the next one. Ready? Let's see if you guys can do this without my hint. Ready? It says, the two dogs chase each other. The two what? The two boys' dogs chase each other. You see, there's two. Boys was already plural. I just added the apostrophe so that we know the dogs belongs to the boys. And here's my last sentence. Help me read it. We cleaned the cages. Now, whose cages? Oh, they were the mice's cages. Remember, apostrophe S means possession. What belongs to the mice? The cages. So, as you're writing, boys and girls, and you are noticing that you're using these at the end, but doesn't mean that you're not trying to make it mean plural or more than one, it's a possessive noun, and we need to put that apostrophe in the S. And I know in second grade, it's very tricky, that apostrophe S and then just the S, since we learned it all week. But as we are practicing our writing, we will practice together, okay? So, all week, boys and girls, remember, we've been working with our personal narrative, and we already went over our personal narrative. Remember, it's a story about you, right? So we're going to be using I, me, my, and we. It's a small moment that happened in your life. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It describes people, place, and things, so lots of describing words, telling how you feel, and using dialogues. And all week, we've been going through the writing process. So we did our pre-write, we did our graphic organizer, our draft, we were revising and editing, and then the final step is to publish. And when you publish, that just means you write the final copy of your writing with it being as much error-free as you can. So yesterday, we were in the middle. We didn't quite get done with our revising and our editing. Remember, revising, I like to do it in green because we're going over the grammar of the story, the mechanics, not the mechanics, I'm sorry, what the story, the flow of it, right? So we're looking at sentence structure. Does it make sense? Are you putting events in order correctly, right? Whereas edit is more like looking at capitals and periods. Are you using capital letters and or periods? So yesterday, we went through our writing with Miss Jody, remember? Well, Jody was a student, and we were going through her writing because she did her graphic organizer, and then she wrote it, and then with the teacher, with your teacher, or with me, we were editing and revising. So revising, remember, we moved some sentences up because it didn't go in the right place. We added some details so that it could make sense, like down here, we were down here. It says, then we went to a place that showed a town 100 years ago, and then we talked about, well, where really did you go? And she said, oh, a floor, you're right, we went to a floor, so we changed place to floor. And then we said, how did you feel about that? And she said, it was fun, so then we added details. It was fun to see how people used to live. You see how we did that? And then we went to a movie too, and then so we added more details. Where were you? We went to the movie at the museum. It was a huge screen. The birds that it showed flying came right at you. It made you jump. Notice how that's a really long sentence and didn't quite make sense, and so we revised it. So together we said, okay, so let's take out that it showed. We're gonna change and put came flying. You see, that little symbol just means we're gonna switch the words. And then we added and made you jump because we didn't need the word it. So you see this little mark, this just means we took it away. Those little carrots means we added. And then we again added some words, added some little words so that it made sense, changed some words from get to ask, and then added some more details. And then we went through and said, oh, museum is spelled incorrectly, and then we changed all the way that we spelled museum. Dinosaur was spelled incorrectly when they forgot a capital letter. And then we forgot a word, and again, museum was spelled incorrectly. So with me, we went and revised and edit. And so what Jody did was she took this draft and then she wrote it into her final copy. And here's Jody's final copy. So she fixed all the mistakes that we made on it, and she wrote it in her best handwriting. And or if you want, you can also, depending on what your teacher will like, you can also type it. So boys and girls, we went through the whole writing process this week of going from the beginning to the end of writing a personal narrative. So try to write a personal narrative of what you did this weekend or what you have done, and send it to me here at the studio. You guys are doing such a good job, boys and girls, and make sure to come back next week because next week we'll be back in our regular schedule. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
To a brand new day, time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.